start the recording, and there we go. All right, so welcome to my fiddle class on the Morning Dew. I'm really excited to have so many people here. This is pretty awesome, and I know a lot of people are planning to watch it later, and maybe we'll join us next week. So this is the first part of a two-part class, and here's our plan for today. We're going to start with the building blocks, which are just the rhythms and the bowings, and we're going to spend actually the first half of the class just talking about rhythms, bowings, and then the scales and arpeggios. And you'll find that if you really focus on this part of the class, even if it's kind of tricky at first, it's going to kind of make your brain work really hard. But then this part should be really fun and easy if/when you understand these parts. So please, if you do have a question, feel free to just speak, or you can put it in the chat if you'd rather type. And stop me at any time. I really appreciate questions because it lets me know like you're paying attention and you are understanding, but you need some help. So please feel free to ask some questions. All right, so here we go. I am going to put this up. I would recommend that you do take some notes. The best way that I've found to take notes is actually printing out the tune. And then I like to write on the tune. I find it easier. Recently, I've been doing something like, I don't know, here, if I can see what I'm doing here on the screen. There we go. So I don't know if you can see me on the PowerPoint, but here's a tune I was working on, which is a really sweet tune as well. So I printed the tune out, and I was drawing in the bowings as I go. And I actually have two versions of the tune, and this has been super helpful in like actually understanding what's going on. So I have just like the tune printed out twice, so I can kind of have two versions of it and compare. Today I'm going to try to give you one version of the tune, and then if you come back in the next week, I'll show you some different options. So today, if you have one copy of the tune, that would be great. If you don't have it printed, you can just get a sheet of paper and just write down the bowing patterns. Especially if you're good at learning by ear, that probably will work just as fine. And I will have the music up on the screen. For those of you who might be kind of new to Zoom, if you click on my picture, you can put me as your big picture, and then you can have the PowerPoint, smaller if you don't want to look at the PowerPoint, or vice versa. So you can kind of double click, I think, and you can make my picture big, or you can go back to the PowerPoint. All right, so here we go. Here's the first half of our class. This lovely tune is in D, so we're going to start off with the D string, and this will be a great way to both warm up and kind of get some of these rhythms under our fingers. So first off, reels are in cut time. We're going to do a reel today. A reel is an Irish dance, and it's actually used, the dance form is used in lots of different cultures. The Irish reel accents the offbeat. So we're going to, and this might be helpful for some of you. If here's the beat, right, we're going to go one and we're going to accent in between the beats. Let me do that slower. It might be helpful to sing that and clap with me. And two, and one, and two, and one, and two, and if you might notice, my and is louder than my beat. That's really important so that it sounds Irish. And if you were to play with a step dancer, or for a group of dancers, they need that accent. They're going to hit the downbeat, boom, and then the fiddle player hits the upbeat, and then it creates that momentum. So it's really important that you accent the offbeat. Now, it's kind of interesting. People count reels in different ways, and so I want to give you this concept here before we start getting into these bowing patterns, and we're going to practice these three bowing patterns together in just a minute. But before we do that, let's look at this section right here, which says Irish reel accent the offbeat. And I'll read these and just explain them. Please let me know if you're confused for any reason, and I will definitely explain with more detail. So when you're counting cut time, you're really counting half notes. So if you do see the sheet music, here I'm going to stop. I'm actually going to show you the music now. If you do have it, you can pull it up, but I am going to put it on the screen just in case, so I can point out like what I'm talking about here. Dun, 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 new share. Yes, and I love Marit's warming up her bowl hold. So awesome. Okay, so here we go. Oh, look at that. I'm like talking about them up here. Rip and roll. Those are kind of the same thing. This third one we're not going to talk about yet, but that's okay. So here, this is, I didn't put bowings in because I want you to kind of experiment with the bowings, and I'm going to give you a lot of information about how to do that. But what I did do is I drew the accents in. So you'll see right here on your lovely piece of sheet music that we have 2 sharps, and we also are in cut time. This little C is it's the C by itself stands for common time, which is 4/4. However, with the slash through it, it means cut time, and you know, it's kind of, you can think of 4/4 and cut time being really similar. But in this case, we're going to, if you see right here, the half note equals 120. So we're going to count half notes. So the beat is actually a half note, which is, for a second, like, think about that. The beat is a half note. That means A, you're going super, super fast. Not yet, but eventually you'll go super fast. And when you're counting, it's more like there are 4 eighth notes per beat. Usually we're used to the beat having 2 parts, but now the beat has 4 parts. So you can kind of think of it as 1 eanda, 2 eanda, like 16th notes, but reading 16th notes is really hard to read. So it's nicer to write it in cut time. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna accent every other beat. So if you're thinking about 4 beats like quarter notes, you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this case, it's really 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. All right, so I'm gonna leave that at that. Let's play. So the first pattern we're going to do is just straight eighth notes. And this is actually really reliable, and it's super simple. So here's the bow pattern, and it goes like this. The bow pattern is literally down, up, no slurs yet. Those are the harder ones. So we're gonna try that to get the accent and to kind of just get the rhythm in our hands. When you're playing Irish music, or fast music really, when it wants to go that fast, it's good to loosen your bow just a tiny bit more than normal. And I also choke my bow up to about here on the other side of the grip. That also helps get really fast and stay into the string and not like fly off the string. So, and then I'm also mostly using my pointer finger. My pinky's pretty lazy while I'm just up here in the bow. So you want to find like what I call the square point of your bow. So that's where you see my arm is a right angle. That's going to be the most comfortable place to chill out because you only have to just kind of use your elbow. If you get below that, your shoulder has to get involved, and that's just like too much for when you're going so fast. It's too big. So yeah, keep it out here at about the square point and keep it really small. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do 1 minute. We're gonna do a minute of the first bow pattern on the D string, and I'm just gonna hold it for that long, and you can join me or listen and hop back in. So here we go. Square point. I'm squeezing a little bit into the string like this, so it's nice and gritty and loud. And here we go. 1 and 2 and ready, go. Keep it nice and small. And then bite it. And I'm just squeezing. Squeeze. 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 Let's just pause for a second. Find the square point again. For a moment, just squeeze the stick into the string and then let it back up. See if you can just make that happen. And I'm not making any sound when I do that. That's kind of a nice like middle, just like middle step to help you practice making sure you can actually change the pressure with these 2 fingers. So I'm changing the pressure using these 2 fingers. And here's the trick, a tiny bit of bow speed. So a little bit of speed, a little bit of pressure. So you notice on that accent, I did use a little bit more bow. And that means I need to get right back to my square point every time. So here we go. Let's do it. Now Gita's here, beautiful. 1 and 2 and ready, go. Good. 30 more seconds. Nice and small. Light and heavy, light and heavy, light and heavy. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2 and. progression so far? Is that feeling pretty manageable? You can make the louder sound and the quieter sound. Sweet, I'm seeing some nods. All right, cool. I'm gonna sip my coffee and put the PowerPoint back up. So Gita, I don't know if you saw the PowerPoint yet, but I did recommend people take a little bit of notes, or what my students already do, because we're, 2020, is they just take a picture of the screen with their phone. Super classy. But here we go. We're gonna move on. That was this first bowing pattern here. So now over here, I wrote these ridiculous phrases, but they're really helpful. And we're gonna sing them together a few times, and then I'll show you super slowly, and then we'll try to put them on the D string. So here's the first bowing pattern. This is a Downbow Slur out of a bow triplet. So super cool pattern. It's gonna come up all the time, and you might already have experienced this. It comes up all over the place. This sound. I know there's lots of names for it. My teacher called it a bow triplet, so that's what I'm gonna call it today. Some people call it a cut, in like more in like French Canadian style music. They call it a cut, where they go and they kind of cut the beat up. I know the cut as a left hand thing, so there's different words for everything. Anyways, this is the thing we're doing. And again, it comes from squeezing here, and you want it to be really bitey and kind of gross. And it sounds especially gross when we're going slow, but it'll sound really cool and rhythmic when we're going fast. So try just the triplet, which is this part. Ta-ka-ta, ta-ka-ta, ta-ka-ta. Triplet, 1, 2, 3, okay? And they are, in Irish music, it is an even 3. But in French Canadian music, the first 2 are faster than the third one. Wow. Anyways, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ta-ka-ta. You want it to be more like that, though. Really, really like crunchy. So squeeze the stick into the string and then just, and like the grosser it sounds, the better. You almost don't want it to make real sound, like pitch. You want it to just be percussion. Okay, let's try that a few times. Square point in my bow, nice relaxed pinky. Squeeze the stick into the string, and now crunch it 3 times. And notice that you're going down, up, down. Okay, here we go. Down, up, down. Ready, go. Again, you kind of have to retake. It's such a tiny little retake, but it's good. And I retake again to my square point. Ta-ka-ta, ready, go. Yeah, and you can try this in different parts of the bow if you want to go like a little bit lower. Some people like it here. Wherever's comfortable, I find it nice, like right there. Where am I? Like 4 inches from the frog. It really matters where you are in the bow. So just keep adjusting until it feels right to you. Like 1 inch can do so much difference. Like I'm seeing people like change where they are in the bow, and that's good. I would highly recommend experimenting with where you place the bow, because the balance changes dramatically. All right, so I'm gonna find my little square point again. Let's do 10 more triplets. Here we go, ta-ka-ta. Ready, super crunchy, here we go. Circle again. Crunchier, go. Ready again. Ready again. Ready, go. 5 more, go. Ready, 4 more. Ready, even smaller. Tiny, tiny little bow. Ready, again. 2 more, go. Circle, last one, go. Okay. For the bow triplet, we're then going to, this is kind of our first slur right here. Ta-ya. So I put little dashes when it slurs. Yes, Dave.
Is it always down, up, down, or do you sometimes do up, down, up?
I never do up, down, up, and my teacher doesn't either. That pattern is always down, up, down.
Yeah, because I found that easier, and I didn't know whether I was cheating or not.
No, that's totally same for me too. It's funny though, when you do the jigs, which maybe I'll do a jig class too, you can do the same thing, but in the jigs, it's always up bow. It's so funny. Yeah, you do like, I don't know, it like works one way more, you can do it up bow, but it's not very reliable. I'll just say that in terms of like rhythmic consistency. Yeah.
Just one question.
Yeah.
So the pressure, the downward pressure where you're pressing down, that's at all 3 bows, right?
Yes. For this one, yes, we are going to release it right here. Okay. But for this, it's going to, I'll show you like, oh, geez. Oh, and actually, Maureen, I'm really glad you asked that. And I meant to, before we started, people have asked this before, I meant to play the tune for you once. So why don't I just play the tune for you once and you can kind of see where we're going, just so that you have some context for all of this minutia. So I will go ahead and play the tune all the way through. And Marie, you might be able to see, let me know if this answers your question. You'll see that as I'm doing this triplet, it's always, it's really more of a rhythmic accent, and it's not so much a note. Okay, so I'll show you, and it's very crunchy and held down. So I'll show you like. So Marie, do you see where those ones are like really, really crunchy? She says, applause, thank you, perfect. All right, so let's talk about that little triplet spot now, and you guys can try it with me a little more slowly. All right. Oh, sorry, was that a hand? Oh, was that a hand up? No, here we go. Like too many screens open. All right, here's our little pattern again. I'm gonna sing it with you. I want you to sing it with me 5 times. I know it seems kind of silly, but it really is. It's super helpful to sing. I've been singing my tunes and I learn them so much faster when I sing it. I know Linda also has Donna as a teacher, and Donna's the one that she's always teaching us to sing. She says, sing everything, sing all the time, sing in the car, put your music on and doodle along with it, because it's just, it goes into your brain so much quicker, because you know there's all this stuff in the way, your strings and your hands and blah blah blah. And Donna always says the distance from your mouth to your brain is a shorter distance than your hands to your brain. So anyways, here we go. Let's sing this bow pattern here, and it's gonna go like this: taka tayaka taka taka. Okay, taka tayaka taka taka. The capital ones have the accent. So if it helps, you can look right here. The straight eighth notes are just taka, 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 taka. Next one is taka tayaka, taka, taka, taka tayaka, taka, taka. There we go. That's kind of crazy. But I think it's really helpful. I'll sing it over and over again 5 more times. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, try it. Taka tayaka, taka, taka. Taka tayaka, taka, taka. Taka tayaka, taka, taka. 2 more times. Here we go. Taka tayaka, taka, taka. Taka tayaka, taka, taka. There we go. I got both accents. Right. Okay, let's try that on an open D. It's just this much. It's weird because you have to accent inside a slur. Strange, crazy, but very cool. So here it is again, sticky takas. And then I like, I'm adding pressure later in the bow. And that puts the accent where it needs to be. Because it always needs to be on the offbeat no matter what. So that is the pattern there. So down, up, down, down, up, down. That's still just this much, takataya. Okay, the rest of that is just normal eighth notes. So here we go. Let's just repeat takataya. We'll do it 10 times. Here we go. Let me make sure I'm okay for time. Yeah, we should be good actually. I think this is the hardest bow pattern. This one I find to be easier. So this one should take us the most time. Here we go, takataya. Let's do 5 of them. Here, we're gonna practice it a lot on the tune as well. Takataya, open D, sticky. Ready, again. Ready, again. Okay. Take a breath, make sure your shoulders are soft. 1, 2, 3 more times, try it. Takataya. Ready, again. Okay, now let's try. Let's add some more, let's add the rest of it, okay? What happens here, and this is kind of what happens up here, when you add the accent, you need to recover the bow. That's like a really big concept that I've been working on with Winifred, is bow recovery. So bow recovery is when you accent, you're suddenly using more bow because you used bow speed to get some of the accent. So you went, and now I'm like way out here at the tip. And if I keep playing out there, it's gonna get farther and farther away from my control. So we need to recover back to my square point, okay? So these are all little, right? Oh, I did my slur, now I need to go back. So just make sure when we add this next note here, which is the ka, we're going to use a little more bow so we get back to, I'm seeing some people do it, yeah, getting back to that spot in the bow. So here we go. We always want to just come back to home base, which is square point, okay? Or wherever's the most comfortable for you. If it's a little bit below the square, a little bit above, whatever's feeling like really in control for you, that's great. Just find a spot and say, okay, I'm going to come back here every time. This is my spot, okay? Because when it gets so freaking fast, you need to keep it really small and kind of in the same spot. So here we go. Takatayaka. We're going to add one more note. And I'm back. Amazing. Ready, again. Ready, again. Ready, again. Ready, again. One more for now. Okay. Let's add the rest of this. We'll do 5 of them and then we'll move on. Again, stop me if there's questions. Oh, someone chatted. Is the slur downbow or upbow? Marie, great question. So if you see here, this is a downbow slur that we're doing right now, the second dot, and then we are going to have an upbow slur. But your good question, this one is a downbow. So it's going to go down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, and the rest of those are just back and forth. So there's only 1 slur per pattern. Okay, so this is the downbow slur pattern. 1, 2, triplet, try it. Okay, let me pause so you have a chance to catch up. 1, 2, ready, here we go. Takataya, takataka. Kataka, takataya, kataka, taka. One, two, super slowly. Okay. Whew. Brain twister. Hope you guys are keeping up more or less. We'll come back to this one. Let's put a pin in it. You know, I think it might be good now to actually, I was kind of thinking this might be the case. Yes. Okay, good. I want to take a break in about a little less than 10 minutes, give you guys like a chance to think and ask questions. Before we do that though, we'll play for 10 more minutes here. Let's go ahead and take a scale though now. And we're actually going to go back to this bowing, taka, 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 and warm up with some scales now just to get the left hand involved and give our bowing hand and our brain a little break. So let's start with the D major scale. Hopefully everybody knows the D major scale. If not, I put it up here. It's super, super easy. This is the first scale I start with all my kiddos. We're just going to do that. That's the scale. D, E, F sharp, D, A, B, C sharp, D. So I'm just using these 3 fingers, and these 2 fingers are touching. So here we go. We're going to do this pattern. I just want you to try to get that offbeat accent. Okay, we're just going back and forth, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, here we go. D. Circle, find that square point again. Take a nice deep breath. Make sure your neck is not involved in this process. The neck muscles really like to help, but they don't need to help. All right, so my shoulders are down, back and down. Sitting nice and tall on my chair, my feet are on the floor. Posture is so important for your sound. Take a nice deep breath before we start. I'm gonna count to 4, and I'm gonna want you to breathe with me on beat 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. One more time for now. 5, 6, 7. Cool. Hopefully that's working for you all. Again, stop me if you have any questions, but let's review our chord shape here for D major. This is going to be super, super helpful information. We're learning the chord. I'm going to use this and be like, okay, we're in the E minor chord now. So you should be able to know where those notes are. Let's start off with the D chord though, which is just here. This one's really easy. We're just going to, it's really only 1 finger. I don't know if we use the top D a lot, but let's start with just 3 of them, and then we'll add the 4th note. You can do another D in there. For now, let's just do this. We're gonna go up and down 5 times. Here we go. Nice and simple. D, F sharp, A, F sharp, and I just want you to think of that as like if you were a guitar player, this is your D chord. Okay, so here we go. And let's actually do it with the rhythm. Okay. 1, 2, 2 times like that. One more. Here we go. D, F sharp, A. Sorry, I added the top D without thinking. So the top D is a 3rd finger D here. So that's kind of the full arpeggio there. I think for time's sake, we'll move on though, unless there's any questions. Let's try it once with the top D because it's good for you. With the rhythm. Taka, 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 5, 6. Here we go. right, we are going to go back to the bowing patterns. I'll just do this for y'all. It's actually more in E minor, this tune, than it's in D. However, I started with D because more people are familiar with D. And this tune is in a sneaky kind of E called E Dorian, which is kind of, it's a minor, it sounds minor, but it's got a C sharp in it, which is not, which makes it different from E minor. E minor just has an F sharp. It does not have a C sharp. E Dorian has the C sharp. So I know in Donna's class, Linda, we were doing so many Dorian tunes. So that's kind of why I like invited all of you, because you spent so much time with these tunes. So the basic chord progression is just E minor to D. So let's do this. Let's go back to the other chord progression, or sorry, the other bowing pattern. Then I will talk about E minor, the chord, and then we'll take a little break and start the tune. All right, so the last bowing pattern, really important, is the Upvote Slur. And now this one, actually, I do this one more often than the triplet. This one I kind of use when I want it to be a really kind of clear start to something, because it's got that crunch at the beginning, right? But as a general rule, I'm going to use this last one the most, actually, and it alternates really nicely with this. So that's this one. Ta-ti-yada, 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 ta-ti-yada. And you can do them over and over again, or you can just put a taka-taka at the end, okay? So let's try this much. Ta-ti-yada. And you'll notice, again, our accent is inside the slur, which is kind of weird, but now it's going to go the other way. So I'll show you really slow. Down, There are 3 notes in this slur, or an eighth note and a quarter note. 3 eighth notes or an eighth note and a quarter note, which is a beat and a half. So this slur will always be a beat and a half, and it will go over the beat, and that means we're going to have an accent sneaky inside it. Okay, so here we go. Ta-ti-yada. Looks like this. Pull the down bow. You kind of have to rip the down bow so you have enough bow. So find your square point. And here it is. Okay. 1 and 2 and. There's 4 notes, or 4 eighth notes. This is a half note right here. Ta-ti-yada. And then we have another half note left. Taka-taka. All right? Because there are 4 eighths in every half, 4 eighth notes in every half note. So here we go. Ta-ti-yada is the first half note. Ready? Let's do that 5 times. 1, 2, excuse me. 1, ta-ti-yada, ta-ti-yada. Ready? D string. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I kind of pull that first note, but I'm trying not to accent it too much, so it's kind of floaty. Not that floaty, but I don't put a lot of pressure. It's just speed, so that I can have enough bow for those 3 notes up bow. Okay, so let me do that really slowly. Ta-ti-ya, ready, go. Last but not least, let's add these rest of these notes here, and I'll cycle it through a few times, all right? So, let's actually sing it. That was good for us. And if you like to, I find this to be helpful sometimes too, putting my fiddle down and just taking the bow and singing. So I'll do that for y'all. Let's do 5 or 6 times through this rhythm, just singing and moving the bow. If the bow is confusing, you can just sing. Ready, steady, here we go. Last pattern. Ta-ti-yada, taka-taka. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Ta-ti-ya, taka-taka. Ta-ti-yada, taka-taka. Ta-ti-yada, taka-taka. Ta-ti-yada, taka-taka. Ta-ti-yada, taka-taka. Ta-ti-yada, taka-taka. Oh gosh, I kind of got lost. Oh my gosh. But hopefully that's helpful just to hear it spoken. Again, this is an up bow slur, so it's going to end up going ti-yada. And you'll see here that these three are the ones that are connected with the dash. Okay. All right. Let's see what time it is. Beautiful. I think what we'll do now, let's repeat. Yeah, let's practice this pattern a little bit on the open D. 1, 2, let's do it 6 times. Ready, steady, here we go. Oops, sorry, I did it wrong. 1, 2, here we go. Rip. There we go. Oh, it's hard because yeah, that loops. I see why that's really tricky to loop it. You have to remember to rip this one when it repeats. Don't forget that this one needs to be a really fast bow. This first one, ta, ti, ya. Fast, slow it down, regular accent. Fast, slow it down, regular accent. Okay? We are going to use this rhythm the most today, this one and this one. But so we'll repeat it a lot. So if you don't get it just yet, we're going to come back to it. But let's try it 3 more times right now. 1, 2, here we go now. I see, I want to do it small. The first one needs to be fast. 1, 2, start fast. Here we go. Whew. Okay, there we go. That sort of at least shows you where we're headed. All right. Let's take a tiny break. We'll start off with this E arpeggio and it will totally help us, but I'll kind of pause there if you need some water, just like a brain break. If anybody has any questions. Whew. And I will actually close that there. Cool. Are we hanging in there? Is that sort of working for everybody? Yeah? Marie, is that, I know it's like a lot of new bow patterns. It's like all over the place, but.
I found that last one a bit difficult. I couldn't work out to start with, after you'd done the down bow, whether the up bow was supposed to be 3 different emphases in the up bow, or was it 2?
Dave, again, fantastic question. Sometimes it is 2 notes and it's only a quarter and an eighth note. Sometimes it is 3 notes and then it would be 3/8 notes. That's why I was kind of changing it.
In that particular instance, were you doing 1 down and was it 3 up? It
will be 3/8 notes up bow. Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes I wasn't singing the third one because you slur over it and it kind of like doesn't get a rhythmic pulse. So, yeah. Let's see where would be a good example. Like, let's see where's a good example in the music. Ah, this is good. And then the third note is quiet. And you can kind of put it in different places. So I think as I start teaching the tune, it might become clear where that slur can live, I hope.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh no, was I not on mute? I just was wondering, are you supposed to end up in the same, like, is it supposed to be, I felt like is it an odd pattern? Like, do you end up in the same place? After,
yes.
I feel like if I looped it, I would switch up when, like, I wanted to do that up bow every time, but then I found, like, if I kept doing it.
Great question. So let me do this. I actually was planning to do this and kind of forgot. So I would recommend actually taking just some notebook paper here, and I'll review all 3 bowings if you want to. I'll review them and I'll just draw them out for you actually, which might be helpful. So I would draw that. So there's 8 eighth notes, and they're grouped together in groups of 4. And then I'm actually going to draw that 3 times, or just 2 for now, it's fine. The third pattern is just down, up, so I don't think we need that one for now. Okay, well, I kind of drew those too close together, but whatever, we'll survive. So there's 2
notes.
What?
Those are all 8th notes?
All of those are 8th notes, yep, and they're grouped together in groups of 4 because we're counting half notes. This, I might have, let's see. And then the first one, actually, I did draw those too close together, so I'm gonna just draw it again down here. Okay, beautiful. So the Upvote Slur is gonna be something like this. The way that I taught you, it would be this. And we can actually put this slur in lots of different places. The accent is going to be, let me draw the accents too. So that was the third bowing pattern. The thing is though, it moves around, and that's why I didn't want to draw it on the music, because we are going to move it around more so next week. Where actually more often, this is still the third bowing pattern. I just moved it. Ooh, sneaky, sneaky. Okay.
What are, oh, I see, those are down bow and up bow, those
yes. Let me mark those symbols for you so you know which one's which. The down bow is the square one because it looks like the frog, and the up bow is the pointy one because it looks like the tip. And so when you're going up bow, the tip is leading, and when you're going down bow, the frog is leading. So all of these are actually bowing pattern 3. Both of these are, this is actually, now we're kind of getting into next week's content, but it's okay. This might be really helpful. This is 2 versions of the Upvote Slur. And actually you can also put it going from here, you know, it doesn't matter. You can put it here, or here, or here, or here. You can kind of move it around. There's a couple places it won't go, but for now, this is really good information. I'll leave this up for another like minute or 2 in case people want to like write it down or look at it. So as we go, I'll continue to refer to this, and I'll put it back up and kind of show you which one's which. So if we have a measure that's all 8th notes, it's very likely I'm going to do this, one of these. So now I would really recommend pulling up the music, and we'll go ahead and hop into the tune. If we have a measure that's all 8th notes, I'm either going to do this bowing, slur 3 8th notes at some point, and that's always going to end up bow if I slur 3 8th notes. Okay, Linda, I was just drawing the picture of the bowing patterns for people who appreciate that. I'll go ahead and draw the third one, or actually this is the second one. I'll draw the second bowing pattern for y'all. Ooh, interesting. That's questionable, but it works. Okay, so the second bow, if we have a measure like this that has a quarter note and 6 8th notes instead of all 8th notes, that's where we can do actually one of 2 things. We can turn this into a triplet. So this, number 2, when you see this on your page, quarter note, 8th note, 8th note, 8th note, we can do this. Taka 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 taka. That was the triplet bowing. That will always be, let me draw the directions, always be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And Marie, this actually might answer your question better. So if you can tell here, oh wait, down, up, I made a mistake. No, it's okay. I caught it, so it's fine. I made a mistake on this on number 3, the second version of number 3. So I'll leave this up here now for a second. And actually I'm gonna make my picture big. So if anyone's looking at this on the recording, they'll be able to see my picture big here. Here we go. Okay, ooh, now it's really big. Okay, So this was bowing pattern number 3, which is the Upvote Slur. We're going to use that one a lot, especially when there's groups of eighth notes. But we can actually use this bowing pattern for this rhythm as well, and I'm going to show you how to do that actually first. This is the downbow pattern. Down, up, down. These two patterns are so important. I'm going to use them all over the place all the time. So we are going to review these a lot, and this is it. These are the only patterns besides just down, up, which almost doesn't even count, but it's important to talk about. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. You'll notice that all of these patterns loop on themselves. They start with a down bow and they end with an up bow. And that is always going to happen, okay? What's kind of tricky is that when you come upon this up bow is you can put it anywhere. Sometimes I do put it going over the bar line, which is kind of crazy, but it's still going to end up with a down, up at the end. So this down, up is like your BFF because you're going to return to it all the time, down, up. And if you get lost, just know that you can come back to eighth notes, down, up as kind of a default. Okay, let's start going through the tune now. Unless anyone wants to see that again, I can put it back up if you need to copy something. But let's go ahead and go through the tune here, and I will, hopefully, as we continue to go through the tune, all will become very clear. So here we go. If everyone wouldn't mind muting themselves again, and you can listen or start to play along. So you'll see here, we are actually going to start with our E minor chords. So let's start by reviewing the E minor chord. All right. E minor chord on the violin or on the fiddle is going to start with E on the D string. And it's actually really important that you do this kind of sneaky cheat, which is putting your finger on 2 strings at once. And that is going to make it so you can hit E and B without having to like painfully twist your wrist back and forth. So find a comfortable spot with your left hand that you can put your finger on both strings at once and get this perfect 5th sound. Hopefully you can get both of those notes. Marie, I know we were doing that like a few weeks or a couple months ago and it was sort of not working. So hopefully now maybe you can try it and it might work a little better. It is quite tricky, but you do need it for this tune. So this is where I encourage you to think like a guitar player, and I'll show you kind of what I'm doing here. So I have this is like my bar, and I'm barring the A and the D strings, so my finger's on 2 strings. And then the chord is just my 3rd finger coming up for the G. So the only finger that needs to move then is my 3rd finger. Okay, I'll do that nice and slow. 1 and 2 and E, G, B, G. Okay. Oh, someone else is here. Let's see. Oh, it's Gita again. Oh, there we go. Gita, do you want me to let that into? Yeah, okay, sweet. Just switching devices. There we go. Okay, good. Alrighty. So, actually, as we're pausing, I'm going to plug in this top. Okay, beautiful. So, this first measure here, let's start right here. It's a nice E minor chord. And what I'm actually going to do, if you are taking notes, I would recommend, if you're taking notes on the page, I would recommend drawing in this bowing because this is going to be the one I'm going to do today. And then next week I'll give us some options as we go along. Well, actually, yeah, I'll try to be really stable this time. Wonder if I can draw on this. Oh, okay. Maybe. Can I draw on it? Huh? I don't know if I can. Oh, here we go. There we go. Now I have a little pen. Okay, perfect. There we go. I'm going to do this. Ha. Okay, that's going to be an Upvote Slur. All right. That's our first Upvote Slur. This is actually a perfect example to answer Dave's question here. So as you can see here, wow, my beautiful drawing. Oh, I can move it down a little bit. Gorgeous. Okay, so right here you can see I'm slurring, and it's actually over a quarter note and an eighth note, or an eighth note and a quarter note, which is the same as 3/8 notes rhythmically. So it's da 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 da. This is worth 2/8 notes, right? So we've got da da, and this one's longer. So it's basically just like we did 3/8 notes. Yeah. Yeah, no problem, Bill. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye. All right, here we go. So that's the first bowing, okay? I like that a lot because it actually doesn't put the slur in, it doesn't put the accent in the slur. I find that easier to put the slur before the accent so that when I do hit the slur, it's much cleaner. Or when I do hit the accent, it's much cleaner and louder. You can start down bow, but it kind of gets the patterns completely backwards. So we're gonna start up bow, which is kind of like, that's kind of a fiddler's, like, that's your choice, right? There's like two ways to do it, down bow or up bow. This is basically the up bow version, and the down bow triplets are more of an ornament. Okay, so I like starting up bow, and so today we'll kind of try to stick with that, but I will show you a few variations with down bow triplet. But most of the time we're gonna do up bow slurs. Ooh, beautiful. There's our next slur. Oh, it made it nicer for me, thanks. It's gonna be right here. And the reason we're gonna do this is because otherwise you have 3 Bs in a row and it's really boring. So we're gonna do this. And I do put a little, no, I'm not supposed to talk about ornaments today. So no, I'm not gonna talk about ornaments. I'm just gonna talk about bow directions. Okay. Unless you do have a question about the ornaments I'm doing, I'll do them so you can hear them. I'm not going to explain them yet because I think that's too much information at once. So here we go. We're gonna start right here, try to get these slurs to happen. Here we go. That's the next slur. It starts on a B, it's an up bow. So B, B, A, those are the 3 notes in the slur. And I'm gonna use this bow pattern so much in this tune. So if you start to get it in the first measure, you're gonna be flying. Okay, so I'm gonna loop that now, all right, to show you how it loops. This D right here, this D is going to become this D. So I'm gonna do the pickup and I'm gonna stop at this F sharp and repeat it. Okay, so we're gonna make this into a little loop. D, E, D, B, B, A, F sharp, D, E, B, 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 A, F sharp. Okay, let me know if I'm going too fast because I know that can be a possibility. I'll try to go. Again. Check in with your posture again. Feet on the floor, nice and tall. Take a deep breath to soften the neck muscles and the shoulders are back and down. Find your square point on your bow. And actually, when I start up bow, I'm gonna go closer to the tip. And here we go. Last, I'm gonna do 2 times now, looping the first measure. 1, and here we go. Okay? 1 more. Ready, go. Okay? For those of you who are already like, oh, I've got that, tell me where the ornament is. It is in between these two Bs. I put an extra little D right there because third finger ornaments are cool, and it just kind of breaks up this B sound. Otherwise, it just sounds like a quarter note. Except I said I wouldn't talk about ornaments. Trying to keep myself focused. So there we go. Those are our first two slurs. You can slur again right here, or not actually. That one's really optional. I'll put that one there because I like to do it, but actually you don't have to do it. Actually, for now, let's take that one out. I'm not going to do that one today. I don't think it's super necessary, and it's kind of nice to come back to this pattern. Just down, up, down, up. Okay, so we're gonna, this measure will start up bow. First measure will start up bow. We'll have a slur in the middle. Next measure will start down bow, just to kind of give us a grounding point again. And then we're gonna slur in the same spot that we've been talking about, the up bow slur over the beat right here. And you'll see that it goes, and this is always gonna be the case, it goes from the last note of the first beat to the first two notes of the next beat. So that can happen here, or it can happen here, okay? And actually sometimes it can happen here over the accent, but it's not as common to do it over the accent. However, I taught it to you like that because it's the easiest way to kind of conceptualize it, is to put it down, up. But in this case, we're gonna go down on the accent and then up here. So let's try measure 2. It's gonna start on a down bow. You need to have your bar down. So you can go back and forth between B and E, or E and B. Da dee da dee da da. Let's do 7 notes. We're not going to do this D yet. We're leaving that off for the next measure. Here we go. Down, up, down. Ready? Try it. Circle again. Okay, find the middle of the bow, nice, or a comfortable square point for you, wherever it feels like you don't have to work too hard to keep it nice and small. Here we go. 1 and 2, E and go. Super slow, here we go. 1 and 2 and ready again. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there. And we're gonna do the same bowing here. So I'll drop, oopsies. Da da da. Same thing here. Da 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 da. And we're gonna do the same slur here. B A G over the beat. Okay. So the next 2 measures, the bowing pattern is exactly the same. I'll play the whole first line for you so you can hear kind of the musical direction of what we're doing. You can try it with me or you can listen. Da ding da 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 1 and ready and. Here we go. We'll use the same bowing pattern actually for the whole rest of the A part so you can get really comfortable with it. Next week, I will show you how you can replace this actually with the triplet bowing, and they're actually interchangeable, which is pretty nice. So we'll stick with this bowing pattern though for the whole first section here so you can get your head around it. Okay, so this D right here will slur to this E. Beautiful. And then we'll have the same pattern here as we did in the first and third measures. Same pattern here as we did in measure 2. Same pattern here as we did in the first measures. Same pattern here. So we'll just do the same thing the whole first part for today because That'll give you a chance to get it. So let's see, here it is, B, A, G. So there we go. And then we are going to slur this A to this B into the B part, okay? So all of these, every single one of these is an upbow slur. All of them are upbow slurs, and you're always gonna hit the accents on a down bow. This is why this is my favorite bowing pattern, because it feels good, it's consistent, so it helps you like lock onto something and get into a groove, and you always get the accents on a down bow. Geeta, did you have a question? I saw you.
Yeah, I do actually. You know when we have to separate the 3 Bs?
Yes.
For the second 2 Bs, is it incorrect if I do a C sharp versus a D? Like if I do the second finger in, it's supposed to third?
You know, that is such a great question, Geeta. No, you're not wrong. It's just you're gonna get a different harmonic, right? So it's a slightly different emotional content. So it's really up to you. So slight. It's so very slight. But that C sharp is a little, in my opinion, it's more tense, right? Because especially with that E minor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean there? Yeah, and then here, it's a little more open, and I like that. It also gets, if I hit the D, I like that because I get the kind of the echo with my open D. So I like the D, and my teacher does a D there, but C sharp's not wrong by any means. Okay, let's take this bowing pattern now. I'm gonna go super slow, but I am gonna go all the way through the A part. It is super repetitive. If you're not a music reader, you know, just listen a few times and sing and see if you can get it to happen. But I will go all the way through nice and slow. Da-dum-da, ready and go. And then it could keep repeating, okay? So let me just do this and kind of, are people mostly reading the music, or do you want me to teach the notes? Can you guys, yes, reading music? Let me see, I don't see your faces. Let me just see, can you give me a thumbs up if you're reading the music, or thumbs down if you're not? Thumbs up, yes, Marie, sort of, okay, Dave is, okay. And I think Geeta is a music reader. Geeta, let me know if I'm wrong. Okay, let's try this now then, if you're reading
Just the first 2 lines we're doing, aren't we, Mikela?
What's up?
Just the first 2 lines we're doing.
Yes, just the first 2 lines, all right? Are you all following okay so far?
Yeah.
Okay, great, let's go ahead now and we'll just repeat it. What I am going to do here for you is I'm gonna, Linda, is that a question? I can't, let's see.
Here I am. With those 3 Bs in a row, which B are you adding the little to?
The ornament, yes, I am putting it in. So this first B is the accent, not in the slur. This second B starts the slur, and then I'm putting the ornament in between the 2.
In between, okay.
Yes. And
that's what I thought.
Totally. It actually is a really important ornament for the sound, so I'm glad you're asking about that. I'm putting it here so that it doesn't just run on between the 2 Bs. Otherwise, it just sounds like a quarter note. Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna repeat the first 2 lines. I will actually pause here at the end. I'm gonna stop on this F sharp because this A actually belongs to the B phrase. Okay, so we're going to stop right here on F sharp. I'm gonna go super slow all the way through, and good luck. Here we go. All right. Starting up bow. So find a nice part in your bow a little bit higher than the middle. Comfortable, soften the shoulders with the breath. Da-dum-da-da, ready, slow. I'm back here and I could actually go to the next one, but we're gonna go and repeat it again. This time I'm going to stop and before each phrase, just to really give you a chance to catch on to where I am. So I'm gonna do the first 8 notes, but remember, every phrase is offset by 1 note. So I'm gonna stop on the accents, okay? So I'm gonna do this much, da-dum, da-da-da-da-da, stop and think. Da-da-dee-da-dee-da-da-da, stop and think. Da-da-da-da-da-da, stop and think. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, stop and think. And I'll do the whole thing like that. Here we go. Or the A part at least. First 2 lines, stopping between every measure, but every measure is offset by 1 note. Okay? 1, 2, ready, go. Next. Cool. See, Geeta's coming back in, I think. All right. Awesome. I think just to kind of give us a break, I will move on to the second part. If, yeah, I think that'll be good for us because we just have 12 more minutes or so. The nice thing is a lot of these bowings, they're going to repeat. So I do want to at least give you the bowings for the whole thing today. So let's move on. And then if you have any questions at the end, I can repeat things. I also will send you all a video of me playing the whole thing really slow. So Dave, yeah.
Could you send the PDF with all your bowings on? So because I'm trying to look away to put it on, and then I'm looking back and.
Yeah, Dave, I totally will do that. I did want you all to go through the process of writing down the bowings.
Okay, yeah.
I find it to be extremely useful, but I will send it to you as well. I think it's good for you to have to like sit there and be like, where is the slur, and draw it in yourself. But I will send this out for after today so that you have.
Thank you very much.
You can check it all. Just make sure you got it because I know I am moving pretty fast. So yes, I can do that. All right, so moving on into our B part. Here we can keep the same bowing, but right here I find it, again, very repetitive. So because there's 2 Bs in a row, if we did slur these, like if we stayed in the same bowing pattern, we'd slur this. But instead, we're actually gonna turn this into a triplet. So let's see if I can. I like to do dots. Is it gonna let me do dots? Sort of. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so I like to draw 3 dots above that note to show that it's a triplet. Triplet. Okay, there's gonna be 3 notes inside that note, and this last note is gonna slur to this. Okay. So we're gonna
the on the previous bar, it's just down, up, down, up, down, up, is it?
This right here, it's gonna start up bow. So this A right here at the end of the B part is gonna slur into the
notes after that.
And then after that, yes, it's just down.
If you don't put a slur and we just assume it's down, up, down, up, down.
Yes, Dave. Thank you. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And we'll get to that. We will add this 3-note slur here over the beat. And then again, we're going to do the same thing. Da-da, where we slurred into the B. Okay. And then just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And then we're going to slur here again. And just like we did over here, since it's a B, B something, here we have B, B something, we're going to put the ornament in this one. Okay. Da, 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 dum, da. And do I do that one? Let's see. Oh, and there I do the C sharp ornament. That's funny. I don't know why. Interesting. So yeah, as Geeta was noticing, you can do either one. I did the C sharp here, but you can also do D. Either one is lovely. Da-da. And then I do this. We're gonna do the 3-note slur here. Da-da-da. You might start to notice a pattern, and then it's gonna be the same thing on the second line. Wow, look at that drawing. Beautiful. da dum, da. That's going to slur in from the other side, da da dee da da da. So this second one is going to be pretty much the same bowing pattern. Let's see. Yep, it is. It's the exact same bowing pattern the second time, just with different notes. So here we have our triplet again. Wow, super clear. There we go. So 3 notes there, and then this one slurs down bow. The only time we're going to do a down bow slur is here in these triplets. That is the only time. Okay? Everything else is an up bow slur. Wow, beautiful drawing, but it works. So here we go. This is the B part. I am going to do the same thing I did before, which is I'm going to stop. I'm going to do 7 notes and then stop. Okay, here we go. Right here, you do have to do your tricky first finger thing again. And I do actually rock my finger over here. Just be really careful not to take it in the wrist because that can really hurt your wrist. So when you rock over, either you can just collapse your first finger and take it in the knuckle, okay? Or turn your elbow so your whole arm goes over, okay? Yeah. Okay, oh, I meant to stop right there, so I'll do it. Here we go. 1, 2, slowly, part B. Sorry, reminder, we're gonna start here on this A. A, B, 1, 2, up, bow, here we go. Next one is this. There's our first triplet. Let's just practice that a few times. B, 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 E. Ready, here it is. Ready, circle again, go. Ready, again. Ready, again. 2 more for now, go. 1 more for now, go. Okay, here we go. Let's go from here, which we're gonna do. This note is because we did down, up, down, up. This is an up bow. So we're gonna go. So we just added 1 note before the triplet, and that should help us kind of link it together. So here we go. We're just gonna do the pickup, which is the note before the beat. So pick up to the second measure of B, and we're gonna stop on this accent. Here we go. So really just kind of 3 notes. B, 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 E, start, up bow, nice and small. Ready? You don't actually have to retake. If we do that, it will loop. Ready, go. Up, down, down. So most of those notes, it'll be like this. Up, down, down. This is the down bow slur right here. The last note of the triplet slurs down bow. So again, slurring down bow out of the triplet. That is that was bowing pattern 2. Most of the time we're using bowing pattern 3, except sometimes when we need it. And next week I'll talk more about how those are interchangeable, but for now we'll just practice them. So here we go. Up, down, down. Here we go. 1 and 2 and ready and up bow. Ready, 2 more. Ready, 1 more. Now a little bit faster, less bow. Ready and go. Ready again. Ready again. Ready again. Okay. Let's go ahead. We'll start right here and we'll do 1 more slur. Let's just do the slur. I find it actually really helpful to practice the slurs and find where they are. So if over the next week, if you feel so inspired to practice this, I would very much recommend, if you're struggling going through a whole section, isolate the slur and be like, okay, so I'm slurring here between B, A, and D, so let me just practice that. And you can hear that as one sound. D-da-da. Ready? We're doing this slur right here, which is an up bow slur, B, A, D. Ready? Go. Okay. So let's try that. Let's do 2 more. Ready? Up bow. noticed here, we're just gonna come up a nice D arpeggio, and then we're back to our E chord, rocking the E chord. And here's our next slur. Again, this one we're gonna have to put, I put that little ornament in there to separate the B's. Let's try this slur, and then we'll try putting it together. Here we go. B.
Mikela?
B. Yes.
Do we use open or do we use for D and A?
Great question. Open, yeah. Most of the, and I've talked to my teacher about that a lot because I'm a little classical baby, and I'm always using my fourth finger, and she's like, "Don't do that. It takes away the chance to have a chord. So you want to have this." I'm actually going to hit both strings eventually. So you want that. You want that opportunity to play the B and the E together because that's really cool. All right. Back to this little tricky slur. Let's isolate that little slur, and then it should start to kind of piece together, hopefully. Here we go. So starting here on the B, and it's an upvote slur, and it's going to be like this. Ready? Try it. You can try it first without any accent or without any ornament, and it's just going to sound like this. B, B, C sharp, ready, up, bow. Ready, up, bow. Ready, up, bow. With the ornament, try it. Ready, again. Or C sharp. I like that C sharp there because you're gonna go to the C sharp. So I like it there. I don't know. There's no real reason why I did that. It's just nice. I like it. So ready, let's do two more. I'm gonna do the C sharp in between these little B's here. 1 and 2, and ready and go. Circle, up, bow, here we go. Okay. Then we have, and then the same slur as before. And then again. Oh, I missed one. It's this one. It's that same slur again. Okay. Alrighty. I'll do this now. I'm going to do the whole B part, and I'm just going to take it really nice and slow. I'll do the first 7 notes, or I guess we're doing 8 because we're going to start here, and then we'll stop right there. Stop on the accent. Same thing I did for the A part. Here we go. All right. Nice and slow. 1 and 2 and ready and pick up to B. Ready, up, bow. Ready, A. Next line. Ready? Ooh, interesting. Oh, maybe I do that separated. Yeah, I do that, yeah. And sometimes I do that one too, that's optional. Okay, it is 11:30, so sorry, 12:30. Maybe I do need to do a 2-hour class. I did that last time, so maybe we'll do that. What I will do for you though is let's go ahead and finish marking these bowings. If you do need to go, like, I totally understand, but I'll go ahead and finish them here and just show you that it's really, really repetitive. And then hopefully over the next week, you can learn the notes a little more comfortably on your own. And next week we'll come back, I'll review everything. I'll make sure to go through the C and D parts. And I'll show you a couple variations next week, but we'll mostly, the variations really are only like showing you how to use this. We can use this bowing pattern here because it is the same rhythm, quarter, eighth note. So we can use that here, and I'll show you kind of how to make this A part more interesting. And I will show you how to roll this first measure, which is really fun. Do a little roll on it, which makes it even spicier. But for now, let's just go ahead and mark the rest of these bowings. So you have that. So going into the C part. It's really almost, I think it's the same bowing as the B part, but let's mark it anyways because it's good for us. So here we go. We're going to slur from the last beat here into the first beat of the C part. So that's going to be an upbow slur. Back and forth here, down, up, down, up, down, up, and we're going to slur right here. Again, the rule is if there is a slur that covers two of the same notes, I'm going to put an ornament in between it to separate those. Oh, actually, that is the rule. But right here, actually, I do this bowing. That's another way to kind of separate those Bs. Ooh. So I'm going to do a triplet right here. Triplet. Okay. And when we're done with class, I would really love your feedback, whether it was helpful to write the bowings down or whether in the future you'd rather I just did it. I did, you know, I've been having so much like aha moments when I write it down myself. So I wanted to give you guys that experience. But if it's too much, if it was like, whoa, way too much stuff to do in a class, like please let me know. And I can do the bowings ahead of time. I didn't on purpose this time. So same bowing here, slurring in, but down, up, down, up, down, up. And here we're gonna slur over the beat. And because there's two Bs again, it's gonna be the same as it was here. We're gonna put a little note in between the Bs. Okay. You'll notice that's actually the same as this measure. Amazing. So a lot of this stuff repeats. It's such a repetitive little tune. Da-dee, and we're gonna do the same thing here, slurring into the downbeat, slurring over the beat, down, up, down, up, down, up. We're gonna do the triplet bowing again here. Stop it. It does not like me doing this. Ooh, except that one's really neat. There we go. Slurring out of that. Okay. There we go. Triplet. Yeah. So the only downbow triplets. You'll notice, hey, it's happening at the same time. Da da da. Yeah. Da 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 da. Slurring here. Da 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 da. You'll notice the slurs like they shape they like put the accent right by itself, which is kind of the point. Da da da. Yeah. Da 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 da. Da dum da 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 da. Okay, let's make sure that's right. So nope, this one I don't do. I mean, you can, but I don't like it as much. It's kind of nice to have this moment to go have that down bow again, kind of like we did up here. The down bow moment is kind of grounding. Okay. All right. Let's see the chat here. Make sure. Marie, send us Mark PDF. Didn't print it out. Yeah, totally, totally. When it starts up or down. Not marking when it starts up or down. Yeah, just be. So the rule is it starts up bow unless it's a triplet. Okay. Then it starts down bow. Yeah. Okay. And that was kind of what I was trying to show in the PowerPoint before. Yeah. So all of the slurs, every slur is up bow except these ones that have the triplet. And let's see. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. So this is gonna slur here. This slur takes you here. Da-dee. Oopsies. Okay, actually, let's do this. I will mark this one later on my own and email it to you guys. Do you want me to play the C part along with you, or is everyone feeling kind of done? I'm seeing nodding. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it just in case. Yeah, I think it's kind of nice to hear it. And then we'll save the D part. The D part's my favorite, actually, but we'll save it for next week. Okay? So here we go. C part. I'm going to do the same thing I did here, really super slow. The notes are different. The bowing is the same. And again, the notes are either just this chord. That's just your E minor chord. And then we have a D chord. This one I think is the most like kind of based on those shapes. So last thing for today, find your E minor chord. There it is. So I have that shape kind of set in my hand. My first finger is on 2 strings, and my third finger is just going to be the thing that's moving. And here we go. We're going to start actually the pickup to C, which is the end of the B part, and it's the note A, like this. Okay, let's do it. Ready, go. Next one, up bow. And oops, wrong notes. I'm going to start here. This is different. Actually, no, it's the same as this, so just kidding. Start right here. On the A. All right. So I will kind of just pause here for now. What I will make for you all is I'll make 2 videos. One where I'm going to go through the entire tune, and I'm going to do the A part, stopping between every phrase, and then I'll be like, great, that was A, here's B, and I'll label each part and do it super ridiculously slow, okay? I will also then at the end of that video play through it smoothly, and then play through it a little more faster so you can hear how it goes. I would recommend 2 things. One, break it down really small for yourself when you're practicing. Take 1 measure or take 1 slur and practice that, okay? And also I really highly recommend singing along to a recording. Yes, Linda says writing down the bowings is really helpful. Yeah, I thought it would be, and I think going through that process yourself is so valuable because, you know, you really can just like think about what's happening and write it down yourself and like really go through all of that. I have found that when I give people like a fully marked up fiddle tune, their eyes go, and they can't take in all the information because there's so much slurs and there's accents and there's notes and there's chords. So I find this to be nicer so we can really go through it and you can see that it's really not so crazy. It's really just 8th notes and quarter notes, and then we do some fun slurs over the top. All right, but I'll leave it like that for now, okay, because I'm sure that was way more than enough information. I will make this copy nicer, and I'll mark up the D part in a really simple way. And then I will also make you sheet music next time for the more complicated version. All right. You're so welcome. So thank you all so much for being here. As I do in my class, we all bow to each other, and I say thank you for being great students. And I really appreciate spending your Tuesday with me. Please let me know if there's any questions. Otherwise, that's it for today, and I'll send you a bunch of materials so you can practice. And I'll see you next week. We'll do it again.
Thank you very much, Mikela.
Bye. Thank you so much. Dave, what did you say?
I said thanks very much and happy Christmas.
Thank you. You as well, Dave. Thank you so much for being here.
All the way from Britain.
I know, that's so cool that we can all be in class.
We've been isolated. We're not allowed to leave now.
Yeah, I know. Same here. We're going a little bit stir crazy, but you know, this kind of stuff really helps. So I'm really glad.
It totally does. Yeah.
So thank you for sharing some time with me, and I hope you'll come back next week and finish the class with us.
Certainly will.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.